And Matthew chapter 4, verses 5 through 10, Satan tried to tempt Jesus to jump off the mountain. And he told him, why don't you jump off the mountain? And God, as promised you, He will send down the angels to what? To lift you and save you. Okay? And Jesus responded to him, yes, but the scriptures also say, so Jesus had no problem associating that quote in the Old Testament to himself, that God will send down the angels to save him and lift him up. But Jesus told him, the scriptures also say, do not test God, the Lord your God. Do not fool around with God. Do not act smart. Just follow God sincerely and honestly. Well, when we read Psalm 91, we do read about lifting up the servant and protecting him. But it talks a lot more about than just that. In Psalm 91, chapter 91, verse 15 and 13, it says, he will be saved. God will save him. In verse 4, it says, God will protect him. He will send down His protection upon him. In verse 5 in Psalm 91, it says, the servant will have no fear in him. Okay? And it says in verse 8, he will observe with his own eye the death of the other. Okay? Or the wicked, it says. And it says in verse 10, Psalm 91, verse 10, no harm or disaster will come upon him. You believe Christ died. But it says no harm or death or disaster will come upon him. And in verses 11 through 12, God will protect him, and God will send down the angels to protect him and lift him. Okay? It says that. And it says also, he will not strike his foot against, in Isaiah chapter, going out a little bit, Isaiah 52, chapter 52, verse 13, it says also, even his foot will not strike the ground. If Jesus was crucified and died on the cross and was taken out off the cross and thrown to the ground, his foot would have struck the ground. But yet, he was promised not even his foot will strike the ground. Verse 15 says, he will be heard and he will be delivered. Actually, I'm sorry, I just read it wrong. He will be delivered and honored. Okay, and it says here, in Isaiah 53 verse 10 and Psalm 91:16, his life will be prolonged. His life will be extended. Okay? Extended. So he was sentenced to death, but he will not die, and his life will be extended. Okay?
His life being extended. This is extremely interesting, especially so when you put it right next to the Islamic view. What is the Islamic belief concerning this topic or this issue? Well, the Islamic belief is that Jesus was saved from this brutal death and he was raised up and he is still alive to this day, and he will return close to the end of days and kill the Antichrist and have a natural death after living his life out, if you like. So once you ponder upon this, the Islamic view is telling you that Jesus, even after 2010 years approximately, he is still alive and his life has been extended. Think about it. He is 2010, not out, if you like. Whilst the Christian view is not telling you this, it's telling you that Jesus died. Now, which one chimes well with what Abdullah just mentioned, his life being extended? Of course, the Islamic view agrees with his life being extended. It's telling you his life has been extended. And furthermore, Abdullah did mention that Jesus would be protected. Now, which view chimes well with what Abdullah just mentioned? The Islamic view or the Christian view? Now, the Islamic view is telling you that Jesus was saved from this torturous, brutal death called the Crucifixion. Whilst the Christian view is telling you that this harsh death did occur. But what Abdullah brought to the table tells us that Jesus is going to be saved from harm. The Islamic view is telling us Jesus was saved from harm.